Ooh. So this works or not. 50-50 chances will work, 50-50 chances will not work. And we'll see what happens in about 5 seconds if this works or not. No problems. Okay. So I know I'm doing then.
We are back at the property that we were last time. We got that square body Chevy running. As you can see, we got an S10 out. We've been using that. And as you can see, there's a camper here. Might not make sense right now if you didn't see the other episode, but you can check that out here, and that'll explain what exactly we're doing. In short.
So we're going to finish HHA. And that's all I can really say right now. We're going to finish HHA, and that's all we're going to do right this minute. Let's finish HHA. We're going to finish.
This time, too many loads, too few drivers.
People don't cut the muscle around here. That's it, no more.
The return of an old driver ruffles feathers.
Young bloke, wants the goods in the glamour. I want to work the lazy little
The boss shows how it's done.
It's crucial you get every gear change right. One slip, you can tear a gearbox clean out of this truck.
And goes head to head with the rival trucker.
That blade would just be like the butcher's cutting knife. So that's just
At just 32, John Kelly is a self-made man. Mega trucking is in his blood.
Mum and Dad split up when I was very young, and I sort of stayed with my grandfather who basically reared me. He had trucks, and from the ripe old age of about 3 or 4, I lived and breathed trucks. I was just a walking, talking truck encyclopedia. I remember the first time I actually drove by myself along the Barclay Highway out in the Northern Territory. There was a Cat 777 dump truck on. My grandfather said, "Here, you've been driving around the paddock long enough, jump in here." So I jumped in, went for a bit of a drive, and he could see I was pretty confident. So he jumped in the passenger seat and cracked the stubby and was having a beer drive. I was pretty chuffed then. One of the hardest things I've had to deal with is my grandfather letting me know that the family wanted to sell the business, and I didn't want them to sell the business at all. I wanted to be a part of it. That's what I lived and breathed. I got a phone call from my auntie one day, and she said, "I'll never amount to anything. I'll never own my own trucks, never do this, never do that." And I went, "Well, I'll show you."
You're on a Chevy. Technically a Holden.
Hell or high water wasn't going to stop me from buying that truck. This business and me getting in this industry was probably a lot of it was fueled by spite. I went through some very hard times in the first 12 to 18 months. I was living off the skull of an Ollie rag. I didn't have enough money to eat, but I was going to survive and I was going to be successful, and nothing was going to get my way.
And so began Heavy Haulage Australia.
HHA.
On the outskirts of Brisbane is the heart of John Kelly's empire.
Terry, there you go, mate.
It's Tuesday morning, and John gets a call from an old mate.
You got a bit of a mission for us.
He's a client with a giant load and a tight deadline.
Is that this Friday coming or next Friday? This Friday. Let me see what I can piece together.
I'll get put some stuff up.
John's mission is to move one of the largest bulldozers in the world, the 930 horsepower Caterpillar D11T. It weighs in at a monstrous 115 tons, the equivalent of 55 utes. It's so heavy, most truckers haul it in 4 parts, but John will shift this dozer fully dressed, so it can go straight to work at a coal mine. But first, John has a bigger problem to solve.
I've got an ongoing problem in this business of finding drivers, especially as this business expands massively. These people that come through the doors either embrace the high standards or they don't. And 9 times out of 10, either I give them the bullet or they hang themselves and leave.
Pretty hard, man. People don't cut the muscle around here. That's it, they go.
CB, who we got kicking around to do a D11 for Terry Wolf up to Blackwater this Friday?
So we're drivers. Mate, we're tired, there's nothing. There's nobody. I've got the bullets full.
With no available drivers, John has no choice but to do the job himself.
It's a long weekend this weekend. Joanne's giving me a leave pass, so couldn't get in the truck quick enough.
But he can't save the day every time.
Oh, Louise, hey, push it, park by itself.
One day out on the road is effectively equivalent to 3 days coming back to the office and dealing with the crap that I've left behind.
John and his team have come up with a solution.
He's back.
It's driver Chris. Everyone hoped they'd seen the laugh at him when he was fired 6 months ago.
I'm very happy. Typical young bloke. Wants the glitz and the glamour. Don't want to work the lazy little It doesn't be off, but you know, that's part of life. Maybe in the last 2 seconds, mate, if I was upstairs and firing and firing. But anyway, that's how it is, mate. It's not my fault.
You back for good this time, or you back just for a couple of weeks just to annoy me?
I guess last time it was sort of a mutual decision between John and I for me to go and have some time off.
A bit of a mutual sort of agreement in the sense that before I kill you or cut your legs off and then feed you to the fish, I suggest you go. The boys are very apprehensive about seeing you back in the yard. The easiest way to shut them up, mate, is keep your head down and your ass up and do a good job.
No, I intend to do that, mate.
I just can't deal with the when you go missing, you don't answer your phone, or your girlfriend parks the car behind the truck. I can't afford the grief from the guys if you don't turn up. One person, I can't jump in 5 trucks at once. With Chris McIntosh, it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. Go and give your truck a wash and get into it. The guys at the back have put a bit of pressure on me about YC boys coming back. At the end of the day, I'm the boss dog, and I'm the one who makes the decisions, and that's why it's just going to roll.
Yep, guys, we're watching HHA, and I'm also reading guys' comments. So if you got anything to say in the chat. I'll read them and answer them. So watch HHA episode 1 through 3 and more. So training's coming.
Chris will soon tackle $1 million job that could make or break his return.
One bad phone call, one bad issue, one murmur that somebody's gone wrong, I'm going to cut his legs off.
The mining boom is good news for the mega truckers. Hauling machines like this is worth big bucks.
They want to try and capitalise on as much money as we can extract out of that mining industry.
The king of bulldozers. It can shift 3 semi-trailer loads of dirt in a single push.
If you don't know what you're doing,
We're running at 7 tonight.
You know, you've got the width to deal with. We're nearly 7 metres wide. We're nearly 5.5 metres high. We're just
Ooh, tomorrow's will be nice. Today's high 77. Tomorrow 87. I'm ready for tomorrow because I got work. I got to work tomorrow.
$2 million does are hard at work in less than 2 days. The pressure's on John to deliver.
we put it on, it goes to site, it can walk off the back of the trailer, and it can be pushing dirt in 2 hours. But she's a good looking bit of gear.
Nice, aren't they?
So every hour we're late, it's effectively costing Terry $1,000 an hour. Good to see you.
Safe trip.
I'll send you a postcard.
Do that. Where's Chris?
Back at the depot, driver Chris is missing on day 1, and project manager Ian cops flack.
Supposed to be around 30, and your aim is how far away is it? I said, not far. Might have told a little white one.
Veteran driver Dave reckons Chris has slept in.
I don't know how much sleep you need, don't you?
I sleep enough.
Maybe that's what they're making some of these young blokes out of these days, mate. I don't know. Maybe that's something to be at home. And
Yeah, it's just work doing a late video.
Chris back. I want him back here. He's a good operator. I'm depending on Chris to really get this right. This is a new customer. John has said to Chris, I've said to Chris, don't this up, mate.
Not, man.
Driver Chris is missing, and a client is waiting.
Maybe it's all day video. If I wasn't going to, I would.
Driver Chris finally arrives, almost an hour late.
Just, nah, I'm not gonna make this an all day.
Put him straight. He's on his way. Thanks, buddy. Some guy standing around, gotta go. All right. No time for eating.
Speaking on the phone, apparently he's had the customer on him wanting to know where we are. Apparently he's waiting for us, so like 12 hours delay work, so we're going to be pushing it. We can't put a friend together on the board.
I was on a small company. Fairly small company, that'd be pretty nice.
John is anxious to haul the big dozer.
The whole aim of the game here is to get out of town before the major traffic hits.
But he can't leave until the wide road curfew lifts at 3 a.m.
3 in the morning.
Plus, his destination of Blackwater has a curfew from 5:30 p.m. John has just 14 hours to drive 820 kilometres, including fuel and rest stops.
The old Porsche, travel permit, the police permit, main roads, alert mass declaration. At the end of the day, you only get one chance of this, so we make sure all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. Perfect. All right, thanks, guys. Might be a bit of fog out on the road there, too, but a bit out of the west. Oh, I do, yeah.
Fog and 200 tonnes of dozer on the move can be a fatal mix. If it gets heavier, this job could grind to a halt, a delay John can't afford.
It's absolutely light ball. I'm waiting for the police officer to come up and say, listen, John, time to park up in the interest of safety.
Oh, I knew about the construction on Michigan Avenue, and he's. Where's the train going? I don't know. I can't tell. Oh, train stopping.
For his first job back with HHA, Chris must haul a switch room across town. 12 metres long and 45 tonnes. It's filled with $1 million worth of electricals. This isn't just a test for Chris. The first-time customer is testing HHA's services.
If there's any prudent business starts, we've asked John and his boys to come in and have these as a test case, see how they go, and hopefully we'll do some more business with them.
Yeah, if I start the job today, I'm going to be looking for a new one.
Just run those axle.
I can see myself maybe an accident happening. I never want that on my head. I guess the biggest challenge we've got today is the trailer. I mean, we've got to open up to about 3.4 metres wide, and I think our room that we've got to back underneath the switch room is about 3.6 and a half. So we've got about 100 mil of solid, not even that. And we've only got bricks holding this switch room up. If we bump into one of those bricks, it's a good chance to go and knock that switch room straight on the ground. There's going to be a few phone calls involved, I can imagine that.
Helping Chris is rookie Kieran.
Alright. Just stop before he hits up. Kieran, I mean, he's a good hand, but he's only just started with this. He has got a lot of experience as well.
Biscuits.
I'm just taking it nice and steady. Trying to go as slow as possible. It's very daunting trying to listen. I'm looking as much as I can in the mirrors, but I can't see all of it. Hopefully nothing goes wrong.
Stuff it up on this load, HHA loses a client and Chris his job. Daybreak. John's 200 kilometres north of Toowoomba, and he's in luck.
Fortunately, just on the other side of John Deere, and the fog sort of cleared. It's been an absolute perfect day. We've got quite a large convoy travelling here with this particular load. Probably about 1 kilometre to 2 kilometres out front. We have the first pilot vehicle. That's for warning oncoming traffic. That's followed by the police escort. So any vehicles that the pilot vehicle out in front doesn't get off the road, the police escort effectively runs what we call suicide, and he shoves everyone off the road to make sure that I've got a clear passage when I come through with the massive load. Behind me, I've got a pilot vehicle as well, and he marshals all the traffic around me from the standpoint from the rear.
To make the mine before the 5:30 curfew, John can't afford delays. But that's not easy. Hauling a dozer with a 7-metre blade down a road 6 metres wide.
Wow, that sucks.
The whole idea of running an oversized convoy like this is pre-warning to the traffic, especially the heavy vehicles. So when we come across another truck or a bus, it's important to give them enough time to pull up to allow us to go past safely. And that's why we give oncoming traffic more than 2 kilometres lead time to find a spot.
So over a mile. So that's not bad.
If I pulled up and went off the camber of the road, there's a chance there that the actual shoulder of the road could collapse, and if the shoulder of the road collapsed, effectively that whole truck would go down the side of the embankment. So that's just kiss your ass goodbye, Merry Christmas, end of the line.
Coming over the rise, John spots a rival trucker.
Uh-oh.
He's been told to pull over, but continues down the road.
This is either going to end in tears or he's going to end up with a massive yellow pinstripe down the side of his truck.
Back in Brisbane, driver Chris is chance to move himself against a snag. Or worse still, a stack of bricks.
As a driver, I'm waiting to hear that stop. So, I mean, as soon as we touch something, mate, we stop straight away.
Chris has another crack. This time, it's in, with a hair's width to spare. But there's another problem.
After lots of negotiating and lots of ginning around, we finally got this trailer under and we've realised that we need to extend the trailer another hole.
I'll have to pull this trailer right out.
As Chris drives the trailer back out, the $1 million switch room gets a twitch.
Mate, the last thing you want is the client to have any involvement in you hitting their equipment in any reason whatsoever. You can do 1,000,001 good deliveries, but you'll be remembered for the one that you hit and stuffed up.
On the road to Blackwater, Boss John faces a 300-ton problem. 2 wide trucks, 1 narrow road.
The worst thing that can happen while I'm approaching this bloke here is effectively that blade would just be like the butcher's cutting knife. You wouldn't need an ambulance. All you'd need is probably a dustbin and a hose. There's not much going to be in it. It's going to be bloody close. But then the cheeky bastard gets on the microphone and wants to give me a spray.
Yeah, make sure you're out the right now. Flying out for that.
Pull your head in, mate. I'm supposed to pull up for you with a big 38 on it, like. Lucky I was going the other way, you know, at 80 kilometres an hour. Because had there been a chance to pull up, it would have been on like Donkey Kong. The most challenging part of this journey for me is probably that during your range, catches a lot of people out.
I gotta check the biscuits out.
So we get used and used to how steep it is. But in the last about 75 to 80 metres, it just goes bang, straight up.
This job about done.
It's crucial to get every gear change right. You know, one slip of the wrong ramps or one position of your gear stick in the wrong position, you know, you can tear it clean out of this truck, no dramas at all.
It's gonna suck. Tear a gearbox up. That would suck. Today, guys, I'm just excited today because we're live and we're doing HHA. That was the plan today. Do HHA today was actually the plan we had. But after HHA is over, I'm gonna do some more stuff. So we're gonna do some more stuff than that. HHA more, maybe breakfast. That's about it.
The cost of that could be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So we're having fun this morning.
While steep roads can prove a threat to big trucks can inflict their own damage.
One of the biggest factors a lot of people don't realise is actually bitumen. When a road gets really, really hot and that bitumen melts, and you've got a truck pulling 200 tonne going up a hill, and those wheels are trying to drive, you know, and all it takes is those wheels to get one bit of slip, and it'll spit that bitumen out in chunks the size of family pizzas.
Pizzas? Wow. So right now it's only 7 o'clock. Tomorrow I leave here around 10 tomorrow.
I've done everything I can. I've moved the tractor forward, put plenty of weight on the drive, so we shouldn't get any slippage.
He's picked the right gear and the right speed. But the big hills haven't let him off scot-free.
We're running a little bit low on fuel. A little bit concerned about getting to our final destination this afternoon. I was a bit worried about the time, so I didn't fuel the whole truck up. I only fueled one side up. $1,000 for nearly 10 minutes of refueling. I have no idea what the fuel's at on 60 here. Our average fuel consumption's been about 720 metres per litre. that to your Falcon or your
$800.
You'd be horrified.
In Brisbane, driver Chris
Or $800 for diesel.
He prepares for a second go at the reverse.
Alright, so we want the trial to the driver's side.
Or $800 for a liter for gasoline.
Just keep an eye on this front left-hand bollard on passenger side.
A few more weeks. Kids have school for a few more weeks, and that's it. So school's almost done with, like in a month from now. I can't really. School's already over with for the year for the kids, the kiddos, which means I can go on full time. Which means I'll be at the zoo. Everything else full time. Monday. There might be shorts of video. Monday, who knows what's happening Monday? Monday, I'll go to the dentist.
As long as we got the switch room here and delivered all in one piece, so there was no drama, nothing went wrong.
But has Chris done enough to prove he's got what it takes to be a mega trucker once again?
It's definitely a relief. I mean, I'm glad that it's all going so smoothly.
Yeah, mate, I'm happy. They're happy. Yeah, no, they're really happy with that. So, yeah,
800 kilometres to the north, Boss John Kelly beats the Blackwater curfew by a whisker.
So we made it absolutely bang on time with about 4 minutes to spare. The sun's still up. So you spent about, I suppose, 14 hours from Toowoomba here today.
Time for a hot dinner and a cold beer.
Very relieved that we've arrived ahead of time effectively. But it's not over till the fat lady sings. And we've got to get this thing off the trailer.
Next morning, John finally delivers the bulldozer to the Curra mine site.
At the end of the day, everything went according to plan. There was nothing really to be worried about. The way the dozer rolled off that beaver tail was absolutely textbook. So it's happy days. We'll pack up, head home, and take on the next challenge.
Every now and then, even mega trucks meet their match. This Komatsu low loader has 10 huge wheels and can carry over 400 tons. In minutes, it hauls the D11T to the coal mine. And in no time, it's on the job. When John arrives back at his Brisbane depot, he wants a few words with Chris.
See, boy. So what? Well, I didn't get any phone calls from the customer, mate. So you must have done something all right.
Yeah, we're going to talk to him. He was on site, and he was happy with everything, how everything went.
Chris pulled off a really good job. Client's happy. Praised the way Chris operated, which is always awesome for a newfound customer. I've got some bigger and better things in store for him, but he just needs to prove that he's back in the A game and prove he can turn up every day and do what he says he can do. Because when you do operate, you are a very good operator.
Yeah, no. Appreciate that.
But when you don't turn up, you shit me to tears.
John risks it all on his toughest challenge yet.
We could walk off the site with everything delivered as heroes, or it could ruin us.
If this goes wrong, that's in HHA drivers on a collision course.
corner itself on the trial. How many times I've told you?
One trucker in the firing line.
Shut up.
So I haven't got the time or the patience for any of that.
Chris, shut up.
Got the listens that we can cut off the truck and off.
I sincerely believe that
Did you know that Sensodyne now has a clinical range of toothpaste where you can both whiten your teeth, 2 shades, and also get sensitivity protection? It's just properly formulated from a dentist's perspective. It's something that I've recommended to my patients.
This Friday,
Death is coming.
Stronger Summer, Death with a Scream. Final Destination, Bloodlines, Friday, Wicked R.
boxes, more options. Grainger has over 1,700 box types in stock and ready to help you pack, store, and ship everything. And you can count on Grainger to deliver your boxes fast. Count on Grainger for boxes. Call or click Grainger.com/boxes today.
HHA's got one of the best heavy haul fleets in the world. It's a well-known fact that we go over the top with our trucks.
If they got it, it's wanted, and they got the best here in Australia, hands down.
It's easy to have one or two really nice shiny trucks, and we've maintained that standard to 30 trucks and beyond. God forbid if I end up with 50 trucks in my lifetime, the standard will be the same.
32 years of empire, like, you got to take the head off to the guy.
I look like I'm 40 because of all the stress of all these blokes working for me, and I'm at a debt level of about a 150-year-old.
I have seen John in here some ungodly hours and, I'll sort of bash on the door and, what are you doing? And he said, I've got plates, I've got plates.
Our wages bill is $100,000 every week. Our fuel bill is between $100,000 to $150,000 per week, and that's $1.2 million a month just to keep the doors open here.
With the financial pressure on, boss John Kelly faces his biggest test of the year. It's a giant $24 million tunnel boring machine designed to smash through solid rock at 2,000 tonnes. It'll take 2 months to haul it across Brisbane in 140 moves. This is the first part, the main bearing, weighing in at a hefty 181 tonnes.
It's a massive project, probably worth a couple of million to us. And what we've done this time around is we've given Dave Pansino free rein.
He's number one in the food chain when it comes to drivers. It's high pressure, it's high stakes, and at the end of the day, it's up to him to be the dance master.
Joining Dave on this big move is trusted veteran Brad, but boss John is taking a gamble with the other driver.
We're short of drivers in this big TBN move, so I've had to call Seaboy up to the mark. I just hope he's got his dance shoes on because he's going to need to dance over the next couple of days, that's for sure.
6 months ago, John sacked driver Chris for being late to work. But with a rush of jobs and too few drivers, Chris is back, and there's tension in the ranks.
I think he's got a couple of photos of John giving a private collection. So John's suddenly re-employed.
He wants the glitz and the glamour. Don't want to work the lazy little
And when you got pilots booked, you got police booked, customers screaming, punctuality, mate, that's a big thing.
But it looks like Chris wants to make a fresh start and impress the boss.
Sucking up to JK. Very cool.
I'm definitely keen to come back and have a go and set a good example. You've got to be here, you've got to be committed 150%, and there's no big buts in between. If he keeps it up, should keep most of the camp around here pretty happy, and we'll see how long that lasts. I suppose we're all in there for a second chance, maybe a fourth or fifth chance. I'm not quite sure how many chances he's had, but if he turns up, that'll be a bonus.
On the other side of Brisbane, 2 of John's new truckers are hoping to crack the big time.
We get 20 or 30 job applicants a month who want to work for us. You need people that know what they're doing. And the coal wagons give us a great opportunity to see if you can walk the walk and talk the talk.
Twice a week, prepared coal wagons haul from Brisbane to Rockhampton, 700 kilometres to the north. Damaged wagons are then loaded and hauled back for repair.
By no means are they a mega move, but it gives budding operators that want to aspire to 18 level an opportunity to show me their skills and see if they're worthy of promotion up through the ranks.
My name's Wayne, and we work at HHA.
My name's Buff, and I work at HHA.
And we are the A team.
No, we're not, bro. We're the Z team. We start at the bottom.
We'll move out to the A team now.
Got anything to say from the chat? I'll read it.
I think everyone that comes here, it's a bit of a stepping stone. You start on the wagons, you prove yourself, you do the job, you don't bitch and moan.
For me, this run is in my probation period, so it's in my best interest to prove to John capable of not only doing the wagons, but going up the ranks, moving up to a better trucks and getting some bigger shit.
Me and Bob from his mates working up here, 18, 20 years. I've been over here for 4 years. He's come over here about 9 months ago. Wanted to try and get ahead in life, better lifestyle, better weather, better money. Hopefully he doesn't make it look bad. If he does, that's going to probably look split back on me, but I think after knowing him for 20 years and whatnot, working together, I'm pretty much.
He was scared to be on his own. He was getting bullied, so he wanted me to come and be his bodyguard.
Look at the big picture. You see the size of Sasquatch, no one's going to mess with me with a book and mate like this.
Right, we're not mates. We're cleaning to the size.
Whilst trying breathing down their necks, these truckers will have to do their weight on this job.
The biggest obstacle on this move is crane loading at each end. If we miss that deadline, we can be put back a whole full day. So I've just run wagons halfway across the country for nothing and made no money because I can't charge the customer for their late.
We're on time schedule. There's bloody roadworks that hold us up. I mean, we understand that the road's got to be fixed. You know, you can sit here 10, 15 minutes, it's not going, you know.
Found out we're doing some major roadworks up there. The more stops you have, the more stressful it is.
We're only going to do 700 kilometres each way, and I've got 2 full days to do it in. And as far as I'm concerned, they should be able to do this in reverse. If they can't be up and back in 2 days, I think they need to go back to carton milk and bread.
In Brisbane, it takes Dave, Brad and Chris 4 painstaking hours to load the huge main bearing.
It's 181 tonne. We'll have police, traffic management, and the whole 9 yards. All the other haulage companies in town, everyone had to go at it to try and work out how they're going to do it. We've got it. We're just going to make sure we do it right.
The team has 2 nights to haul the main bearing from a shipyard to a construction site. It should be a 21-kilometre journey, but the load is so heavy it could collapse bridges in the city. So the mega truckers must go the long way, a 68-kilometre.
70 kilometers.
First stop is a rest zone on a major motorway. Night 2 is the final push.
So they go 70 kilometers.
This job is a double-edged sword. We could do a sterling job and we'll walk off the site with everything delivered as heroes, or if something goes wrong, it could ruin us.
The load is so heavy it needs 2 prime movers pulling at the front, Brad behind one wheel, John the other. But all eyes will be on Chris bringing up the rear.
Chris has let the boys down in the past. He's got a lot of catching up to do.
3 trucks to pull it.
Not too much pushing me on the back. So just listen to Brad.
He's walking the plank with this move for sure. If he's not successfully jumping off the edge, and there's plenty of sharks there to get him.
It's his chance to sort of prove himself or have a bit of a go. This is probably the biggest move that I've actually been part of. You know, if I stuff it up, then I'll never get the opportunity to do that again. I haven't got the time or the patience for any of that shit, so God listens or he can unhook the truck and off.
As the man in charge, Dave feels the burden of this mega move.
Every time you look for something in this truck, mate, it's all about borrowed and stolen, hasn't been put back. No one gives a
Fair bit of pressure on him at the moment.
Driver Chris is on site, on time, and on everyone's nerves.
no on the phone. Just make sure you're listening. Phone's off, mate.
Brad and Dave do have permission to remove your legs and flog you with them.
That's what you're saying. You said the phone is off.
See, boy, turn that phone up.
The team has 8 hours to travel 35 kilometres before sunrise.
You know, you probably ride your push bike there if you're fit enough, but we've got that thing
I wish you make some money.
180 tonne piece. It certainly takes a fair chunk of the night away.
The terrain we're going in is suburbia, and there's nowhere for us to pull up this big convoy on the route anywhere, so it's pretty much sink or swim time.
As soon as they leave the shipyard, the mega truckers face their first hurdle.
The whole thing takes months and months and months to coordinate and plan, and you think you've got it all prepared, and then you turn up and the street we've got to come out is lined from side to side with trucks.
Back down low on that fly, please. There's always obstacles you don't sort of really need. You know, guys parking trucks and trailers in the road, bad enough doing the job when it's straightforward.
It takes an hour to crawl half a kilometre past our trucks.
That bollard's going.
This way it wasn't a big telegraph pole and had to get a chainsaw and start cutting that down.
Next, it's a tight turn, and Chris starts to drive everyone round the bend.
Chris is down the back, and then he decides to flap his gums on the radio and do a pilot's drive his drive his truck. Yes, I'm in here, mate, so I mean, if you need me, I'll just.
When you try to hear a crucial thing and someone's talking shit over the top of it, that can be bad. So, you know, that's where John, I think, was going to rip his voice box out that night.
Maybe on the drop side.
Chris, shut the f*** up.
Chris needs to spend a little bit more time driving and less worrying about piloting and what Brad's going ahead.
It takes 90 minutes to grind out 1.5 kilometres. Now the trucks can hit the open road.
You definitely know it'll be a Mazda 121 coming down the freeway tonight, that's for sure. So it'd chew you up and spit you out.
The liquor truckers barreled through the night and reached their target just before noon.
This load, they said, couldn't be moved. Authorities said we wouldn't be able to get a permit. You know, it took a bit of pressure off, you know, completing the first night. No need for yelling and screaming. First night's probably about a 5.5, maybe 6 out of 10 for difficulty. Tomorrow night's going to be a solid 9.5. We're nowhere near over yet, that's for sure. Young Chris, young Seaboy, he did okay. Just needs to learn to shut his mouth. You know, just a couple of times there I was basically saying, you know, Chris, I will tell you when I need shit done.
It's one of those things, mate. You got to ask questions to find out, and whether you use your own brain or just play dumb down the back and wait for him to make a call. I know what happens for that, and then you'll get abused for not using your brain.
You know the old saying, little boys should be seen and not heard? And then you get him a bumper sticker.
Drivers Wayne and Wolf are in a race against to become mega truckers.
You're going to spend 2 or 3 days with a guy, you might as well do it with your mate, you know? You get a bit tired, you talk a bit of shit, you take the piss out of each other. It's just another damn paradox.
More roadworks. Well, the pressure's on now. We just heard that the stop goes all the way up. If we get another bloody 10 of these, we're not going to make it.
In just 4 hours, crane drivers will be itching to unload the wagons in Rockhampton. But putting the foot down is not an option.
We've got every truck on satellite tracking. It's a very handy tool for keeping an eye on your drivers. Basically, I don't let the guys do over 90 kilometres an hour. I've got a speed alert set up in the system, so if they do over 93 kilometres an hour, it sends me an email with their registration and their location, and then I'm on speed dial. Speed dial at 400 decibels.
You're driving, and the phone goes bling, 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 bling. So you go, hello? You go, slow the down. Really?
As the man in charge, Dave is first on site to check the load.
Yeah, it's that sort of industry, mate, where people do get the shits if other people get the job. So just making sure that no one's been out playing any games. Rather be safe and sorry.
Dave calls a team meeting, and everyone's gunning for driver Chris after his performance on night 1.
Keep drill data straight. Don't worry about what Brad's doing. It's the pilot's job, mate, to watch or myself or.
It's 100% concentrate on the load. And you need to go up a gear because you're too far. Look, you just shut up. I'm sure with a bit of direction he'll get up there. If not, it'll be Dave and me with that foot up his ass.
The team has 6 hours to travel.
A black police car with.
Sounds easy.
Well, that's typical in the U.S. Black police cars, but black police car in Australia, I don't know.
Capable of taking the combined strain of 400 tons is a centenary bridge. Problem is, the Queensland floods weaken the northbound lanes. John's solution? A convoy on the wrong side of the motorway. He spent 9 months persuading authorities to shut 21 kilometres of the motorway for 5 hours. The cost? $60,000.
So one of the major concerns for me on a massive move like this is if something does go wrong, it gives the police and main roads ammunition to not grant us further permits for moves. We're not in the business of moving potatoes. Let's face it, if I can't get permits to move, well, I don't have a business. Have we look up the inside there, Dave?
To get to the wrong side of the motorway, they must first squeeze this load under this bridge.
The bridge is basically 4.7, and we're 4.7. How much we got there, Kieran?
If the measurements are wrong, mate, I mean, you're going to get jammed up underneath one of those bridge beams and then wiping out a bridge might cost millions.
They can lower the trailer hydraulically, but only by a matter of millimeters.
Too quick, steady, too quick.
Brad controls the speed at the front.
You've got to have the reactions of a gunfighter, you know. The moment someone says stop, just got to stop it.
Chris, the rear.
Nerves are through the roof.
I'm waiting to pound at any second.
Steady, too quick. Stop. Steady, we've got to watch these back lugs. So there's a little bit of foot brake bleeding.
Almost an hour to straight under.
Everything you said, guys, put in the chat. I'll answer your guys' questions.
Now the convoy can join the wrong side of this centenary motorway.
I've lived in Brisbane for 50 years and I never in my wildest dream thought about driving that freeway. I'm lucky to go over 400 tonne on.
Yeah, it does feel pretty cool running a massive job like that down the increased side of the road, you know, knowing that no one's ever done it.
It's supposed to be concentrated straight out, but this is pretty cool.
550 kilometres north of Brisbane, Wayne and Wolf are in danger of missing their deadline
Yeah, they're waiting.
and blowing their chance of becoming mega trainers.
If I have a bad run in my probation period, I've always been late and costing them money. It's not going to look good, you know. What are we? 15 kilometres out. Yeah, we're cutting it a bit fine on our time for the cranes.
If you're not going to get there, the cranes are going to start bringing up the company, saying, where's the trucks? Then you're going to get John ringing up going, where the hell are you? It's not that long to get to Rocky, it's only 700 Ks.
Just day up even more.
The boys arrive, minutes to spare. The trains are ready and waiting. A quick wagon switchover is needed to keep them on side.
It's good working with a mate because you know their ability, you know what they can do compared to someone you don't know. There's not a lot of double checking. You right there, Precious? In there. Come on, buddy. He still drives out the wall, but at least you have some more fun. You try and do those dogs properly this time, bro?
Worse than me married, I tell you. Especially with him. If I want the shit out of you, I'll squeeze you, alright?
Mega truckers have become the first 400-ton convoy to tackle the Centenary Bridge on the wrong side. This move is far from over.
Legacy Way, well, yeah, that's the last challenge of the night.
It was a feeling of thank God this is over and we've done it. And then I looked straight ahead and there was this dirty big drop down and I thought, what the
Boss John's A-team now faces its biggest test. How to stop 400 tons sliding down a ramp.
The ramp going down into the shed, it's about 15-20 degrees.
Nice, smooth, polished concrete and a nice steep descent, and I thought, have a look at this.
Dave noticed a greasy oil patch on that decline. Having a truck hit an oil patch like that, you know, it's just a recipe for disaster.
If my truck broke traction and if that started to go, that'd take the trailer and both the trucks and she would just be down we go.
Chris at the back, a lot of pressure on him. He was very much the last line of defence with braking.
Now, at that weight, once it starts to slide, it'll just keep going.
That's why John was so shit scared on that job because that was the factor. You know, like if this goes wrong, holy that's in HHA.
Over pounds, not a lot of pressure on those.
On the coal wagon's move, Wayne and Wolf had just 4 hours to meet another crane deadline back in Brisbane.
The next obstacle was they were having a bit of a blitz up at Maryborough, so
The blitz being the RTA, the coppers.
Queensland Transport. 9 times out of 10, one of us is going to get pulled up, especially with the oversized loads.
So we've just been discussing who's going to go first.
One of us is going to get pulled.
31 for your way, eh?
Yep. Paper, scissors, rock.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Give my bitch, where do you go? It's always going to be a winner. 30 seconds. Hold up a lot. So, fingers crossed. Oh, look at that. Cranes will be waiting for us. So, we sort of, keep things moving.
If you get a bad bunch of cops, they might hold you by checking your vehicle over, your load. They want to go through all your oversized permits.
Yeah, we lost a fair bit of time there, I'd say. When we get over, community.
In Brisbane, John's entire A-team is being pushed to the limits, trying to deliver the giant main bearing.
A lot of pressure on Chris, mate. He's there as he anchored. Our grade's on the brakes, Stephen.
presses the extra.
A couple of times the truck bucked, you know, like if you wanted to keep skipping.
Yeah, John and I had a bit of an altercation on that ring. He wanted Brad to use the hand pace a hell of a lot. It just kept grabbing the trailer brakes, mate. Every time that trailer brake grabbed, mate, there's potential for that load to bust those chain. I just said to Brad, I said, just ride the fucking brake. Well, you can't hold on the trailer brake. I don't know how many times I've told you. It's on or it's off on the trailer. I'm not pissing in my own pocket, but I've actually got one on here for a fucking change. What a place.
If we want to go hard up against the left-hand wall on the internal.
After 55 tense minutes, they finally make the 250 metres down to the construction site.
Don't realise how steep that bloody hill is, do you?
Nah, for you guys, I suppose you feel it more.
When you look back up where you've just come from, it's quite daunting. Oh, hell, I'm going to bed.
For the second odd time, said, look, drive the truck out how you feel it should be driven. It was good having that control, I guess.
Seaboy stepped up to the mark, he shut his mouth, he actually listened to what Dave and I and Brad were actually trying to get through to him.
I don't think John will ever give you too much of a pat on the back, but that's just John, yeah.
Well, I don't think I'll give him a B+ on the night, but it'll take more than one move to convince me he's committed here 100%.
We've got one with the biggest guns down, we've only got 139 to go.
After successfully passing the inspectors, Wayne and Wolf make it back to Brisbane on time.
Once we get past the RCA, we had pretty much a cream run all the way into Brisbane.
Boys waiting for us. Quick unload, reload, back to the yard.
No, I think the boys have done a good job on the move. You know, they could have done the wrong thing and sped up and tried to make up time there, but they just, kept it slow and steady, and that's a good job.
Hopefully we're doing a good job, we'll move up the ladder.
I'd say they're on the third rung of a 10-rung ladder. So they're 30% of the way there, with 70% of the way to go.
Millions of dollars at stake.
This contract rides on delivering these locos incident-free, issue-free.
Two tough truckers back by the desert.
Says hopefully now we cook the engine.
And then take on the boss.
What's the ladder there? What am I driving? He's going to jump in and try and micromanage. That's just got to me.
John's tribute to his late grandfather.
I've managed to secure what I think is a diamond amongst the rough. He's got to be joking, this is a piece of shit. And by the way, I need it back in 2 weeks' time as well.
2 weeks.
Is there any way to actually get this done? Because, there's only so many hours in a day and we were using them all. Bit of a nervous time for myself here at HHA. Pretty much we're on the eve of departure here for the last 2 locos for our Queensland QR National rail contract. Every other loco we delivered has gone off without a hitch. Perfect delivery, no incident.
Starting in Brisbane, the 2 locomotives will be hauled 4,500 kilometres. It's the longest journey a mega truck
Coast to coast.
There's talk of an extension of the contract for another further 6 locos. If there was a mishap, that's going to be $1.5 million that we'll miss out on.
You're so going coast to coast with 2 trains. That's kind of crazy.
It's totally middle seat approved.
Choose your 5, $7, and $9 Bucks Scrapings box only at Taco Bell.
Yeah, well, I'll do it later.
Like up to $100 off grills, up to 40% off furniture and decor, and buy 4 bags of Color Stay mulch for $10.
We're just going crazy, Tyler. I'm grabbing their cows open line.
Brad's definitely one of our most senior, most experienced operators. And Ryan, he's the up-and-coming rookie. Doing a great job of what he's doing. I'm hoping that Brad can pass on a bit of his wisdom.
Ryan will drive Bandit too, but it's Brad's job. The heavy haul and outlaw. That's a gamble.
This truck has been an absolute dog from the day we picked it up. Had 2 engine rebuilds and 1 brand new engine. Bandit 1's just been an absolute disaster.
Wow.
With no spare prime movers and a contract to complete, Boss John needs this truck to go coast to coast.
The whole success of this contract rides on delivering these locos.
It's going from LA to New York and back.
4 a.m. The depot.
4,500 kilometers you have to go one way. 4,500 kilometers. That's bad. That's a lot.
wheels on Ryan's trailer needed emergency realignment.
I left the yard here in the morning. I turned the first corner and it just wouldn't touch straight. And I just thought, what have I embarked on here?
I'll just keep wearing on that, so a long way to go, so we better fix it here.
If the tyres aren't dead straight, they'll shred in just a few kilometres.
You've got 80 tyres on the ground at any one time. So there's $60,000 worth of rubber just on the trailer alone. For every kilometre you're throwing $50 notes down the drain.
100 kilometres later, the trailer plays up again.
60 miles.
Track straight, so it gets perfectly aligned with the trailer.
100 kilometers is 60 miles. 40K is 25 miles an hour.
We've allowed half a day for problems, but when you stop half a dozen times, you burn that little window of opportunity up in one day. And then when you just get a little problem like this that just aggravates you and niggles at you all day, you just about have enough.
I'm going to make some money tonight.
I'm looking at Brad and man, you've got 30 years clean experience in this shit. You should know this. And he's looking at me and he's scratching his head and he's rattling his cage.
Back at the depot, Boss John decides to deal with a long-standing problem.
With the massive amount of work we've been going through the last couple of months, I sort of had to flip a coin on buying some new equipment. With the grief that we've been having with our new trucks, like the Ant1, we're a bit reluctant to go and buy a brand new truck again. I've actually been looking for an old Mac. I've managed to secure what I think is a diamond amongst the rough.
To add sparkle to this diamond, John turns to the men who pin almost every truck in his fleet.
There goes some piece of suspension.
I've been dealing with PJ's paint shop for the last 14 to 15 years. Steve would be the best painter in the country by far. When John dropped the truck off, the first thought that came to my mind is, he's got to be joking, this is a piece of shit. So I want to do it to all back to original, so original parts, original fuel tanks, original exhaust. So you want to just try and keep it as original as possible. Really sort of cool, old school sort of paint scheme that's, pretty typical of this sort of era. So mechanical wise, we want to make sure we got all the brakes, engines all good.
It's looking pretty rough on it there, but to get it up to our sort of standard, it's going to take a fair bit of work.
It's the reason why it's here. This truck's actually dedicated to my late grandfather who passed away 12 months ago, so I wanted something really
A year ago.
really nice to stand out. Huh? So that'll be basically JFK grey, Caspian blue, blueprint. It just puts the pressure even further up because you've got to make sure you're doing justice to someone. You can't just dedicate something and go, oh yeah, check out this piece of shit. It's got to be good. And then I'll get you to go probably about a quarter or half strength blueprint again. Yeah. My late grandfather, old Frank Smile and Island, he was a massive inspiration in my life, and he was an absolute legend on the highway. He had these trucks and they were like brand new. I was 12, 13, 14 years old. I was learning how to drive it, a V8 Bayliner, and they were king of the road. And I want to make sure that this truck is a fitting tribute. This Mac was probably one of the worst ones we've done in a long time, in the sense that it's so beat up and so worn out and so many things that were just wrong with it. And to take it to John's level, yeah, definitely a lot of work with a very short...
Lights on the breather?
1,000 kilometers.
That's weird having lights on the snorkels. That's different.
Blue eyes, one that water and
Hundreds of kilometers from a mechanic, it's a cracked hose. The entire journey is in jeopardy.
they're riding in toolboxes. Hopefully now we haven't cooked the engine because this is a brand new engine. My truck in 6 months has had quite a few dramas. Very last trip, blowing the whole engine up, so it cost us 2 days behind and 67 odd grand for a new engine in it. Pretty appalling, really.
Brad turns bush mechanic to patch the $6 hose.
I just shortened one up. Yeah, mate. It's a bit like that supermodel, that girl there. She's very nice to look at, but she's got a problem. She's very high maintenance. I just think God, we just got up with water to that toilet, and the show will go on. That's why you pay me the big bucks, John Boy.
After a 2-hour delay, Brad and Ryan are back on the
kilometres behind schedule.
I've tried to keep it cool here, and just make it look like it's not a drama, and just kept going along and say, well, all the loads are one piece, and where they're one piece, and everything else is one piece, mate. That's about it for me. The kid's a good driver, he's like a human sponge. He just sucks it all in. If he was a student and I was a teacher, mate, I'd put him up in the straight A classes because he's going to be a superstar.
Isn't it involving you, this interview? It's involving me and my opinions. Like Big Brother, Big Brother had the old room where he's down there your best. This is a confession room. I hate him.
That'd be the only bit of advice I'd give Rhino is find something else to do when you're younger, because
Unreal.
he's going to be an old busted old man like me one day.
The next day, the mega truckers went to more bad news.
Just go over all our trial dilemmas and not expecting any sort of more hassles. One of our pilots and one of our escort drivers has gone down sick overnight.
Pilots warn oncoming traffic to avoid the mega loads. Without one, Brad and Ryan are grounded.
Yeah, that's the big dilemma. If you can't get one, the load is basically grinds to a stop.
Cookie's got a bladder infection, so we're going to send him off to the hospital.
We're going to need another pilot.
Thanks for calling.
It could take days to get a pilot.
Oh, right. How long do you think that'll be?
But then Permit Officer Leslie has a stroke of luck.
Thank you. Right. Well, we found a pilot, and it's just over there. Nothing, is it? Right. Right. Yeah.
By sheer chance, Pilot Malcolm is at the truck stop, having just finished a job.
Who would have thought that there was our answer was right underneath our nose. There is a guy on the left.
With Malcolm
Wow.
in front, the mega truckers from the car. But 2 hours later, Ryan's trailer strikes again.
If I'm getting a bit beyond the joke. Oh, no, my job.
I keep telling you, young fellas, this is not a job. It is an adventure. Never happy.
Never happy.
They get out here, they want to be at home with Lovey. They're at home with Lovey, they want to come out here trucking. I hope you don't wins the Lovey like you wins the me, Rhino.
And what would I do? What would you want to do?
I'd rather be home with your Lovey.
I'm not doing it.
It's long haul like this and you're away from home. It makes life a hell of a lot easier if you actually get on and enjoy working with the people you work with, because they become your family. You've got to look after each other's back. It is like running with a family. Here we go. Straight in that back. God, crikey, it moves about as fast as you, right?
What is that?
84 months later, they hit South Australia. The troubled trailer is now costing time and money.
Oh, 3 times to change the zone. Yeah, good runs don't last forever, I suppose,
700 cash for one schedule because that trailer is just all over the place.
That's almost a full day loss. It's costing me money both ways. They're costing me money because they're not on time, and they're costing me money because they're probably tearing my tyres to shreds.
Brad and Ryan have burned $5,000 in tyres. Worse still, they now have only 2 spares, and tomorrow start a 2,000-kilometre desert crossing. Tipping boss John's classic Mac turns out to be a bigger job than anyone thought.
A truck like this, especially being as old as what it is, when you pull apart, there's always going to be surprises. But with this thing, there was just surprise on surprise on surprise. It's just the fiberglass, the sheer age of it all. The sheer amount of heat stress and just, star cracking on it. So the whole bonnet's been fiberglass now. Yeah, she's better than what she was new, basically. So she'll be perfect.
Body work done. Now the team can start on the paint job. So they think.
We just got off the phone to John. He just rang and changed the paint as we're actually spraying the truck. Jeff, you don't have to go across here. He wants to do a flat black bonnet in there, so you don't have to do it there. Okay, originally we were putting stripes over the top of the bonnet, now we're not. He wants a traditional flat black bonnet on the top. So luckily he told us just as we're painting. He's fussy. That's the easiest way to describe it. Very, very fussy and very demanding.
John might be a difficult customer, but Steve and his team always pull out the stops for him, especially since the Queensland floods of January 2011.
when the floods started, you know, it was just major devastation. Simple fact, about 5 minutes of water through the workshop. We basically almost went broke. I got a call from Steve when the waters were coming up, and he goes, "Listen, I've got some dramas here. We need to start getting gear out." And I said, "No worries." Assembled the troops and went down there, and we evacuated his shed in about 4 hours.
Wow.
Over 100 grams of the stuff, we moved out. To see someone like John come down and get in the mud with us, you know, it opens your eyes to the world around you. And
So he saved your guys' shot before.
Brings some light at the end of the dark time.
So he got your shit out of there before it got bad. That's good for him. He did that for you guys. So you guys are even.
Snapped a couple of chains just by something we did wrong. I just try and emphasise the importance of restraint on your loads, because if you do have an emergency stop, it's paramount that your load is secured properly.
Drivers Brad and Ryan are about to tackle a desert crossing, hauling 2 locomotives to Perth. It's a long journey. It can also be a deadly one.
Just down the road from here, about 20-30 k's is a site that I hold close to my heart. We'll stop there and have a bit of a look, and I'll show the boys what went through it. It was pretty scary.
Wairira Creek is in the remote centre of the Strzelecki Desert.
Yeah, well, I come on the bridge over here, and it wasn't until I got to sort of nearly 3/4 of the way over here that the drama started.
When Brad crossed the bridge, his trailer bounced, snapping the gooseneck. As Brad battled to control his truck, the entire Brad feared he was about to be killed.
I sat in the float in the truck, just cringing, thinking that this object was going to come off the back of the trailer and come straight through the cab, and I was going to make me make it. It was just a tidal wave of rocks and debris and the tyres, everything flying off the float. All the boys have a bit of a joke. They call it the Brad Emma Memorial Bridge now.
You're very lucky man to be alive, like, in that perspective. Yeah, very freaky shit.
It's not about us, it's about who you leave behind. You're the major breadwinner of the house, not to mention the devastation you'd cause on your family, your immediate family and your children if, you know, they get that phone call, Dad's dead.
In Brisbane, the PJ boys play around the clock to keep John's classic Mac ready for work. Then the boss decides to drop in for a progress report.
It's a well-known fact that Blake and we're just off the tap, crazy busy. So I haven't had time to nurture this project like I normally would. They're under a lot of pressure because I'm a pretty hard bloke to get along with, and I'll tell them straight if I don't like it. The catchphrase underneath that in memory, do you reckon that's too long? Do you reckon we need to come up with something a bit shorter and sweeter, or is really need what, about a foot square, isn't it?
The visit is going well when John drops a bombshell.
And by the way, I did it back in 2 weeks' time as well. With a job this size, normally we'd allow 3 months or more. It went from mission impossible to, holy crap, is there any way to actually get this done? Because, you know, there's only so many hours in a day and we were using them all.
On the local route, Brad and Ryan now have just 2 days to travel 1,500 kilometres to meet their deadline. Following the Nullarbor plane takes them into Western Australia.
We just had the 4 seasons in 10 minutes actually. We just went to beautiful weather, a dust storm, very, very heavy rain. So I think what's down the road. Heavy Haulage Australia.
Sorry, what was that?
Heavy Haulage Australia. We've been just entered WA and we've come across a task force. It's just a random blitz that these guys do. It's not discriminative. They pick on the trucks.
It turns out the trailer's widths don't match the mega trucker's paperwork.
I find to be spread to a minimum 4.2 gram contact width.
Yeah.
The cockpit is that the tyre width on the trailer is 3.8 and the panel says 4.2. So we're being grounded.
In Brisbane, Permit Officer Leslie calls transport officials. If she can't find a quick solution, it'll cost a fortune to change trailer widths in the middle of nowhere.
We're going to have to lift these cranes up somehow and widen the float about that far. Could lead in up to $150,000 by the time we get cranes out here big enough to lift this and set up, and probably throw us back about 3 days, so it's not good.
The nearest crane is almost 500 kilometres away.
The way I'm feeling at the moment, I think I might change the signs on the front of my truck from oversized to over it.
I'm well and truly over it.
On the edge of the Nullarbor Plain, frustrated drivers Brad and Ryan are grounded. Their trailer widths don't match the paperwork. In Brisbane, permit officer Leslie scrambles to sort it out.
There's a discrepancy in the ground contact width on their permit, and I think there's a bit of a typo on there. Are you able to amend that permit? Okay, how long will that take, do you think? Thanks very much. Okay, bye. It was a typo, they're just amending that, and I'll have the permit in about 20 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Well, that was a good sign. They've allowed them to amend the permit, so she's going to read the detail. We've got our way in the next 20 minutes, hopefully after now.
All right, thank you.
I've decided to go into Perth and see the client face to face. It speaks 1,000 words when you take the time to actually fly across the country.
John's going to put his 2 months' work in, but he just needs to leave Ryan and Brad, put the locomotives in the shed, and just stay right out.
I'm not really concerned about what they think.
He'll have to go to the customers.
At the paint shop, the boys at PJ's embark on one of the biggest days in their history. For John Kelly.
The sheer amount of work John wanted on this thing, most of his trucks have 3 or 4 colours. This one's got 9, so
9?
double the normal amount of colours.
Wow, 9 colors.
The times it's running out, we decided we'd try something we hadn't done before and try and put 7 of the colours on in one day. There's so many
That seems
colours
risky.
close together. If one goes wrong, it's got potential to wreck others next to it, which means we're starting again. So much potential for shit to go wrong, it wasn't funny.
4,500 kilometres to the north.
16 kilometers to go.
They define a wayward trailer, more tyres, a breakdown, inspectors, and deserts. On time.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
I wish I was. I'm glad I live in the U.S. There's more. Then I'd be sleeping right now.
But the mega trucker's joy is short-lived. Boss John turns up unannounced.
The boys probably think it's a bit of added pressure with me coming into town. Just what you got overturning, Brad? Up on the sleeve deck?
John takes charge of Ryan's delivery, and the weary mega truckers feel the heat.
I'm just concerned about the fact that the client's happy with the job they've done. Let's hope the client gives the boys some really, really good feedback, and I can walk around and give them a pat on the back and say, job well done. Bring him back in that, Brad.
I might do some work on it a little. Might do something else in a little bit.
When he comes over here, tries the real roost, and within 30 seconds it looks like a bag of shit.
Banging and banging. Just come back hard, left hand down for a little while. So don't give you much room.
John, get off the ass.
He can get a bit easy first go. With one turn down forward and then straight back.
Let's just go forward and start
After the second reverse, John takes over from an unhappy Ryan.
He pays me and Brad money to bring these things 4,500 pages over, and for John to try and step into it the last 40 feet, just to try and bring something. Well, that's just gutless to me.
What's all that about? What do you mean? What was I driving?
I'm gonna make some GTA money in a little bit. Only make $1,400 on GTA.
Very smart man, but no people skills.
We're here for one common goal. Let's keep the customer happy and keep everyone employed. If we keep doing what we're doing, we'll be here for a long time. Definitely not easy being the boss here, that's for sure. I think
We're shutting down a little bit.
really goes on behind the scenes. I suppose the commercial pressures on my shoulders alone is massive running the business on the side.
Ryan senses an opportunity with the boss.
Of course you can.
We'll make some money.
Boys did the last loco. Head back east and make sure they got plenty of work to come back to.
Good job, Brad.
All went well. It's been eventful, but it's been a good journey. So who knows what the next one is, but we'll know in about 6 days.
Job done. And a happy client rewards the leader for his $1.5 million contract to deliver 6 more locomotives.
Mil. Wow, 1.5.
11 p.m. John is straight off the plane to pay another surprise visit. This time to the paint shop.
Really didn't want John to come down. I just didn't want him to change his mind. Some nice pin line. Yeah. It's very, very rare that you get to see a truck pull down like that and you can be really happy with it. It's fantastic. The airbrushing looks amazing. It's a fitting tribute from the grandfather, Frankie Nylon. His nickname was Smiler, and had a big smile and a big heart. He was just an absolute legend. And he still is a legend, and that's what this truck's all about.
It's a relief for the spray team.
He's stoked with the job, which is really, really good because normally he picks something he wants to change, and I am ready to go home to bed. So, yes.
But the job's still only half done.
New exhausts, new fuel.
Okay, we're done.
New mud guards, new wheels and tyres, new windscreens, new trim, fully detailed.